All right, so let's go through the last quiz, quiz 3. We got 5 questions as usual. So the first question, or there's a bit of a preamble before. So a flight operates with a 220-seat A321 between Sydney and Brisbane, and the full cost per block hour is 13,500 Australian dollars per block hour. Sydney-Brisbane is scheduled at an hour and 20 minutes. The aircraft flies an average of 9 block hours per day, which is 270 hours per month. The lease fees are $220,000 a month, and the fuel cost is a third of the block hour total cost. So we want to use all that information to answer the next questions. So the first question is the lease cost per block hour. So if we come here and have a look at question 1, we are told that our lease fees per month is $220,000. So that's your lease fees per month, and we want to know the cost per block hour. And we're also told that it's 270 block hours per month. So our lease per month is the 220,000 cost per month divided by 270 block hours per month, which gets us $814.81. So the answer for this one is D, 815. So that's what we call a fixed cost. So regardless of how many hours you fly, your lease cost is $220,000 per month. Okay, so the question 2 is saying extra flying will, or a new schedule identifies an opportunity to add another block hour of flying. So instead of flying 9 block hours per day, we're flying 10 block hours per day, which in terms of months is going from 270 block hours to 300 block hours a month. The variable cost per block hour for the aircraft. So the variable cost. So basically you think of a variable cost like fuel. If it costs X dollars per hour and you fly another hour, then it's another X dollars. So the variable cost will ultimately stay the same. So the more hours you fly, the higher the cost, and the less hours you fly, the lower the cost. And the cost per hour of flying, so the cost per block hour, remains the same. So we've got answer C in this case, and that was D. So the answer to that one, so extra flying will continue to incur variable costs, and so they remain the same per block hour. So that's your question 2. Now question 3 looks at fixed costs. What happens to that per block hour? So fixed costs, as we said before, and lease cost is a good example, stays the same regardless of how many hours you fly. So if you're dividing by more hours, so you're flying more, then your lease cost per hour of flying is going to go down. So the answer to this one is that it'll decrease, which is B here. And ultimately, you're spreading fixed costs across greater flying. So the more you utilize an aircraft, your fixed cost go down. So that's an important thing to remember with fixed costs. And the example here is your lease cost here in the original example was $815. If we add an extra hour of flying a day and we get 300 hours a month, then our lease cost drops down to only $733 an hour instead of $815. And the more hours you fly, the lower that lease cost per hour is going to be, given that it's fixed for the month. Okay, so question 4 is saying air traffic congestion increases the block time between Sydney and Brisbane by 5 minutes. So block time here we're talking about. So remember block time is measured in hours or block hours. So it's 5 minutes longer. So previously, if you go back to the top of this question, it says that our flight is an hour and 20 minutes. Which is 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, so 80 minutes of flying time. So we're increasing that now to 85 minutes, so we're adding extra 5 minutes to that time. So that's an increase of 6.3%, an increase of 6.3%. And we're asked, the fuel cost will change by what? So let's look at this. So your fuel cost, we're told at the top here, is a third of the block hour cost. So divide your 13,500 total block hour cost by 3, you get $4,500. So for each hour of flying, it's 4,500. And you've got 80 minutes of flying. So your 80 divided by 60. So for each hour, it's 4,500. So 80 divided by 60 times your fuel cost, which means for the hour and 20, so for your 80 minutes of flying, your fuel cost is $8,000. Okay, so it's 4,500 for an hour, and for your 80 minutes for the whole Brisbane to Sydney Brisbane, it's $6,000 is your fuel cost. Okay, so for 80 minutes, $6,000 fuel. For 85 minutes, it's 6.3% more, and 6.3% of 6,000 gives you $375. So your fuel cost will increase by $375 if you add an extra 5 minutes of block time. So the answer is not actually there, so I've given everybody that one free. Okay, so then question 5, the last one, it's asking at a 78% seat factor, the full cost per seat for 1 block hour. So it's the cost per seat for 1 block hour. We know the cost is 13,500 per block hour, and we know the seats are 220. So the seat factor of 78% is irrelevant. That's just information you don't need. So basically, you just want to know the cost per seat, which is simply 13,500 divided by 220 seats, which gives you $61.36. And so the answer to this question is C. And that's it for quiz 3.